Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Nickelodeon, and I'm back with a recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 2. Now, the episode started off with Sheree going to counseling about her abuse with Bob, and I just felt absolutely relieved that she is seeking help for that because watching that and watching what Bob was saying to her and what she was going through, it was very sad to me, and it it was definitely abuse. And a lot of times when you in the abuse, when you in a relationship, you don't recognize it as abuse. And she probably thought that it was just her and Bob's issues, or maybe it would go away, or thinking that it was, thinking that it was probably just her and Bob needed to work on their marriage. But truthfully, it was abuse. It was abuse, and she's gonna get better. She's definitely gonna get better, and it might even help her to find somebody great in her life, and that she can finally get over Bob and move on. Because she needs that abuse to finally be recognized, and then she can finally start getting better. So I was definitely relieved to see that she was seeking a life coach and talking about her issues. You know, she met over at Candy's place, and she brought three of her close friends who know her and her family to Candy's to discuss a homework assignment that the counselor gave her about approaching her kids about the abuse that her and Bob was going through. Okay, now what Sheree needs to realize is that she knows that her kids are grown and they are not stupid. Even younger kids know when something's wrong with their mom and dad and when something's going on. So Sheree, you know, she needs to just kind of take a woosah and just relax and sit down and keep it real with your kids. And that's the thing that I think will make the conversation easier. Is just keeping it real with them, because they already know something's going on. They just don't know exactly all the details. So the homework assignment was for her to sit down with her friends and Candy, and it was funny how she called her friends the bone collector gang, because I thought that was funny. But they sat down, and the friends were playing the kids, and then Candy started off playing charade, and I like how Candy just kind of like really like dove into the issue, and she made it seem easy, but it's definitely not. It's definitely a real subject that Sheree has to have. The Sheree has to discuss with her kids. You know, So coming out of Candy's mouth, it's just easy. It just flow. You know what I mean? But Sheree is living this. Sheree is the one that has to look those kids in the eyes and tell them blah 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 blah. This and this happened with Bob. So, I could see where she kind of um is afraid and kind of hesitant. You know, but I think that is definitely a conversation that needs to be had, and eventually, after seeing that life coach of hers a couple of times, I think that she will have the strength to finally sit down and have that conversation with her kids and also get better. So, you know. Well, let's move on to Miss Kenya Moore and her husband. And I think in my last episode, I said, my last episode, my last video, I said that it was funny how nobody knew her name, nobody attended a wedding and stuff like that. But she did have a wedding that she didn't invite the rest of the housewives too. So she did have a wedding. She had a beautiful wedding gown. She looked like a little chocolate Barbie. She had a beautiful wedding gown, and they were I forgot what, I think it was Costa Rica, some kind of island. Beautiful setting. So yeah, they they had a wedding. Um, we still don't know the guy's name. We still don't know his name, but I seen a picture of him, and he's cute. Um, but she said he's a private person, and that I think the television show and the blogs is becoming too much for him. That clip that they keep showing with Kenya crying, talking about how, oh, I don't want to get divorced. He's a private person. This is too much for him. That's all. That's all Kenya being dramatic. That's like, what are you crying about? Like, that's her being dramatic. That's her being extra. She being extra, y'all. Okay, this is Kenya Moore, twirl princess, being extra. So she basically is just assuming that all of the negative blogs and the attention from the media is going to drive her to a divorce. That conversation between her and her husband, that it didn't even happen. He didn't call her and say, "Yeah, I want a divorce." Nothing like that. That's her being extra. So, she's saying that she worked on herself and that she found the man of her dreams. She found him. She said she went to a restaurant in New York, and a chef introduced her. I think it was a chef or was the owner of the restaurant introduced her to him. And she just fell in love with how highly the owner talked about him. And she said that she worked on herself, and then eventually they started dating, and eventually fell in love and ended up getting married. Which sounds like a beautiful story to me. Um, I'm glad that she found that one. I just hope that her craziness don't get in the way of the marriage being everlasting. Like, stop being extra. Stop jumping to conclusions. You know, how things happen, how things go. Um, let's talk about Portia. Now, Portia, I like Portia. She's young, she's fun. Um, but that stuff that happened with her and Phaedra last year was kind of set up, was kind of nuts, And they got to the bottom of it. They realized that it was mainly Phaedra setting most of that stuff up, and Portia was just a pawn in the situation, and she was just kind of going along with what Phaedra was setting up. But that's what happens when you follow bad folks. You just trying to be popular or trying to have a best friend. but you're not really checking into, what kind of person they are or what their agenda may be, and that's important. That's important, you know. But Portia is just going through them. She learning hard life lessons. She learning life lessons through these women, these Real Housewives of Atlanta. She is definitely growing with them, and she is definitely learning life lessons. She has this thing now where she is not trying to have any new friends. She said that she's trying to take a break from friends, and that might sound kind of ridiculous. Like, what do you mean you don't want any friends? You're taking a break from friends, but what what's going on? What went on last season with her trying to be best friends with Phaedra, and how she got so tied up and all of that mess, and the assault charges with Kenya and things like that. I can understand why she says that she doesn't want to have any new friends, and I could totally understand that. Her sister Lauren moved into her house, and Lauren has a cute little baby, so she set up a nice little room for the baby, and her sister Lauren is living with her. um Portia has a gorgeous house. She has a gorgeous huge house that has a lot of expensive stuff in it. But she said, "Look, I got some house rules." So she set down the rules for Lauren and her baby and anybody else who comes and visits. Which I don't blame her, because if that was my crib, I would have some house rules too. But yeah, she got a gorgeous home. She's opening up her home. She's kind of getting real tight with her sister Lauren. And right now, I think that Lauren is the safest person for her to be around. You know, keep her out of trouble and kind of mediate for her. And that's good. They went to Shamia's bridal shower. Shamia's about to get married in Kenya, and the tickets is I think it was a $10,000 plane ticket from the states to Kenya. And I'm just like, ooh, $10,000 plane ticket to Kenya. Portia is Shamia's best friend, and Shamia just got the news at the bridal shower that Portia did not want to attend the wedding due to some medical condition that she had. So they did bring up some clips from last season where Portia tried to pull um, medical conditions and doctor's notes and things like that as excuses to get out of things. So they're trying to say that Portia is now note or whatever to get out of Shamia's wedding. Me personally, I have no idea why she wouldn't want to attend Shamia's wedding. The medical condition thing, I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about. I don't buy it, to be honest with you. I just think that Portia probably just wants to like not be in the middle of any drama right now because of what she said before. She wanted to take a break from friends, and I think she honestly wants to take a break. That's probably why she don't want to attend the wedding, because she's trying to take a break. But of course, she's not gonna come out and tell Shamia that. Shamia is not taking it good. Shamia's like, "Look, you is my best friend. You was shady as hell to me all last season. You sit up there and call yourself frick and frat with Phaedra. You put Phaedra before me." And she was like, "I have never." Shamia says this: I have never put Katie before you, talking to Portia. And she's like, and and I understand what she's saying, because she's like, look, we best friends, and you let somebody get in between us. You know what I mean? So, I kind of agree with Shamia as far as her saying, yeah, you put somebody in between us. We was tight, and what happened? And now you're not going to my wedding. What's going on? Like, you ain't my homegirl no more. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think Portia needs to keep it real. She needs to keep it real with Shamia and anybody else that she's trying to cut out of her life. You know what I mean? Like, break it to them easy. You know what I mean? If you really want to cut them off, then really cut them off. Don't sit there and drag people along and hurt them. You know what I mean? Tell them the truth. You know. So, and let's go on about Cynthia. Um, I think Cynthia looks gorgeous for 50. She looks gorgeous. I mean, if if, if that's what 50 look like, I want to look like, I want to be 50. If that's what 50 look, I want to be. I'm like, dang, I want to be 50. She's got, her skin is still tight and still young looking. You know, so she goes on this date with this guy, and she's kind of taken back by the date because she greets this guy in the hallway, and he all of a sudden says he wants to put a blindfold on her, and she's like already like a blindfold. So he wants to put a blindfold on her, and he wants to lead her to the secret location. Okay. So she's already like, oh gosh. So once they get to the secret location, he takes the blindfold off, and he's like, boom, it's a photo shoot. Apparently he's the photographer or something. And she's like, oh, this is so dramatic for to come to take me to a photo shoot. And I swear all of these women are extra on Housewives, but she was being extra. But the date was, I thought that the date was awesome. It seemed like he did his research on who she was, and your model. He probably was like, oh, okay, well, she likes the camera, so he was just probably trying to like do things that he figured she would enjoy. You know what I mean? And it looked like, from looking at the date, it looked like she was kind of enjoying the photo shoot, and then they had dinner afterwards. So while they're having dinner, she finds out that the guy's actually 29 years old. She said, what? How old are you? He's like, yeah, I'm 29. She's like, you know, let's keep it as mutual friends. You know what I mean? So yeah, she broke it to him easy and let him know that, look, we just gonna be friends. And that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, he was very, very young. So, that's, other than that, he was very romantic, very creative. You know, that's it. That was the only thing. Was his age. That was it. But yeah, this episode was all right. It was all right. I I enjoy every episode of Housewives of Atlanta. It's just, I just wish that they could get along. They could get along. And I think that the only way they can get along is just by playing it safe and trying to spend as less time together as possible, because like they're always doing something. One friend is always doing something. If somebody's not getting married, somebody's birthday, or somebody's this, or somebody's that, like they spend a lot of time together. So yeah, I think Portia's on the right track by taking a little break. So maybe we might have a peaceful season. Who knows? But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Deuces.